Hey everybody, it's Nate here. Just wanted to share with you some of my expedition loadout, my gear that I have for when I go out on trips. Everything you see in front of you consists of multi-day treks in winter. I use a sled to pack the blue bag in the corner over there, and then everything else fits into my backpack right there, my mountain hardware. So just looking at everything, there's a mix of both alpine climbing and snow trekking, low altitude gear here. So it is going to be a little bit heavier. It's not going to be on the lighter side. There's extra stuff here, including things like that book, which take up space. But all in all, it's a well-rounded kit that will get you through the day and have you enjoy the elements. So just kind of going over my production stuff right here. In this, I have a couple of drone choices. I have both a Mavic Pro and then a Mavic Air right there. And then underneath that, I have a case that I carry my cameras here. I have a couple GoPro Sessions, 360 camera, this is gear. And then this is a Mophie pack. It's 10,000 milliamps hours. And then the main camera I'll use is my Sony Alpha. I don't have a mic for it, but you know, it's better than nothing, and it's easy to pack down, which is why I like it. Coming along the climbing stuff right here, I have a few slings right here that I'll use for making anchors. These are 180 centimeter slings. This one's a little thicker. And I have a few carabiners. This is a Cross Rescue pulley system. We have a micro traction here, and then a pulley. And over here I have a Grigri belaying device. These are popular. And then a ATC XP, which is also a belaying device. And then we have an ascender. This is the Black Diamond Index ascender that I use to climb up the rope. And then we have two ropes here. I have both a static and dynamic rope. So the dynamic one you're going to want to use to actually climb with. This one is going to be tension on the rope always. You're never going to have slack in the rope because there is no stretch in this. The specs on each one of these ropes. This is a Sterling VR10 10.2 dynamic dry rope, 60 meters long, so about 180 feet. Really good deal on that one. And then this one was equally as satisfying. It's a 9 millimeter dry rope, and this is more for ice in the alpine, and this is only 40 meters. But this is a static, so I'll use this to rappel and do rescue kind of stuff. And this one's more exploration, you know, getting to places where you're trying to get higher. All right, so over here we have a couple other things. And let's have a Mummy thermalite reactor. You've seen this in some of my other videos. This is supposed to add 15 degrees. And then I have an insulated Nemo pad right here. This is the Tensor 20R. And it's a nice pad. I have my trusty Salomon Quest 4D GTX boots, Vortex. You can see they're worn. I wore them in Iceland. I recently just did some waterproofing on them, so you know it's definitely waterproof. They're broken a little bit. Okay, so in my hand I have my brand new Black Diamond Expedition trekking poles, and all these items I will go over in further detail, do reviews on them once I use them. Got these for $100 REI. Really excited about those. I don't usually use trekking poles, but assuming we're using a sled with two bags, I could use all the traction I can get going up the mountain. So those are Black Diamond there. Those are all. I just have a wool blanket. This was a very cheap wool blanket. I think I got for like $10-15 at the Army surplus. And like it's good for, it's got stuff all over it, but it's good for just putting directly on the snow. And just keeping you warm as an extra layer. It's very, comes in handy, nice wool blanket. I also have this RAI blanket that has felt on one side and then waterproof tarp on the other. It's supposed to be like a waterproofing blanket. I usually put that on the floor against the tent body, the first layer, because it's soft and it helps me feel like it's going to keep it more dry. But you know, usually if you have a good tent, it won't be an issue. Right here, I can open it up. I have a few things in here. So this is like my culinary supplies bag, and it's part of it. So I have a light my fire more knife. You see me use this a bunch of times. Celery squeeze mini. You know, if there's no water, you won't need this, but if there's running water, I can filter it out. And then I just pull this out. I also have this like water pack that is good. It carries like 3 liters. And that's pretty much it. This was my filtration kit. This is what I put my food in. Right now it's pretty empty. Mostly my freeze-dried food. I am gonna pack some fresh food in a different bag. But this is usually my snack dry food that I store within my backpack where I know it's not gonna spill stuff. Just have a hardware store axe here. And I do have another axe in my bag I'll show you, but this is just a regular camping axe, and because we have a sled, we can carry a lot heavier things in. It's got a nice hammer edge, and I haven't used it yet, so I want to bring it out there, so it's going to be a good wood chopper with the sled. And then this is a Black Diamond Transfer 3 shovel. It does extend. I really like that shovel. It works really well. Very solid. Usually that part breaks because that's one solid metal piece. It's not gonna give you any issues. These are my MSR Evo snowshoes, and I've used them a few times already. As you can see, they're beat up. They hit each other and they bump into rocks. So you know, you have to sand that down if it gets too rough, or you know, just deal with it. It's life. You know, they're not the best snowshoes, but they get the job done. The straps are not the, they don't really stay on. They flap off. You have to tie them down. And it's like a cheaper plastic, but in terms of when I've used them, they've worked really well. I'll probably eventually upgrade to a nicer binding snowshoe that will work well with my other gear. But for now, those are what I got. In this bag are various layers and extra clothes, including my Ghost Whisperer down jacket and my Arc'teryx synthetic jacket, and a bunch of other layers that I'll put on in case I need them. And back here, it's kind of been decided out, is my Hillenberg tent, Nalo 2, and you guys will be seeing that in an upcoming video, what that looks like. Really excited for that. It's my 4-season tent. I'm bringing 2 stoves this time, and basically so one can be focused on water and one can be my personal mug and eating vessel. And then I also have a backup stove. So in there I have a Pocket Rocket 2 with a small little canister, and then this one I have a very giant canister. It's like double width wise as they usually are, so that should last on the trip. And then I have a Covia stove, which is meant to invert these canisters and convert the liquid into a gas. You can't see it, but it's tucked right in there. It's a Covia spider stove. I'm going to be using that, so you'll see that. Here's a fun little thing I never get to use because I never have the space, but this is my camping backpacking chair. I have 2 of these. This one is a little bit more colorful. Again, because we have the sled, I'm going to bring this out and make a nice little seat in the snow itself. I also have a cheap little tarp I've used a few times. If you've seen, it's a blue, this is a Vigor tarp, I think it's called. It's 20 bucks, very cheap, but I keep it on my bag, so if for some reason I would lose my sled half, which has my tent and my sleeping bag and all my stuff, I can at least use my clothes, which I keep in here, and the tent or the tarp to make a shelter. And it's also good for when you get to some place and the weather's nasty to just put a tarp up and put all your stuff under it. So that's why the tarp stays in my bag. And everything else, well, I'll go over what I put and where and why I do it in a little bit. Let me just go finish going through the gear. So just have a insulated thermos here. Nothing special, things like, what is it? It's a 40 ounce. I may bring a second one, but depending on where water is, you know, it's not always necessary. In the back of here, I'm going to take these out. Are a few things that may be important. So I have some snow anchors with some extra, guy outline. There's 6 snow anchors in here. I may use this for Hillenberg. I may just use the regular stakes, but I have them. And they're coming undone, but it's life. I have a axe, which I keep on me. So this, again, with the bigger axe I'm bringing, that's gonna be my sled. And if for some reason I would lose my sled half, I would still have something to create wood. So I can carry this little Bear Grylls axe. Just a couple of work gloves to make sure I protect my hands when I swing it. And then I have some gaiters right here. These are just our research ones. They're not the Gore-Tex ones, but they work. And then, there's this little strap, nothing big. On the Osprey pack, I have a foam thermarest, which I put underneath the sleeping pad. And then in my bag right here, I have my sleeping bag down there, which is just my down 15 degrees. So with all the other stuff I have, it should work. This yellow earth bag I use to usually put my trash in, along with food that can drip, like maybe steak or seafood or stuff that's going to be really smelly that I want to keep separate. It is completely waterproof, and I can rinse it out. So I really like using that from the Earth Pack. It's 20 liter. This bag has all my clothes I'm going to wear on the first day we go out. And right now it has like my G1000 Fajal Raven pants in there and a bunch of other layers that I'll show you guys in greater detail. But what's cool about that bag is it does pack into itself and becomes a little sack, so I can pack away my bag or put my street clothes in it, and it's very light, it takes up little space. So I like that as a travel, personal kind of clothing bag. Just have some old goggles. These are some liners for my gloves. I also have gloves in here. I guess I have to do a more detailed video for everybody to show all my layers. This is a beanie I got in Iceland, I really enjoy. This is a neck buff kind of Milano wool neck warmer. It's really cool, it's got a cool pattern. And there's one last thing that I will grab because it's so big, but I haven't packed it yet. So, last but not least, if conditions get really bad, the expedition down here. This is a Shaw Raven down. It is monstrous. This thing is not messing around. Look at that. And it packs down into about something a little bit bigger than that green sack. It's not the smallest thing, so I really could not. This is not something you can bring if you're just wearing one backpack. It's definitely for if you have a sled or you pull a sled, or you got more room. You got 2 bags. This goes in your your sleep system bag, and that's for emergency cases in case you get stuck in something really bad, or conditions get shitty, or you just have somebody isn't doing well. You put them in this. It's definitely like a lifesaver jacket. It is warm. It is glorious, and all this gear I got for very, very cheap. I didn't pay full price. This jacket retails for around $700-800. I got it for less than half that. A few $100s. I got it for new. So you just gotta look at the right times. So that's pretty much it in terms of my gear. There's a lot more little details in terms of personal items like headlamps and stuff. So I guess I'll do a follow-up in a detailed video. Oh, but the last thing I'll talk about is just what goes where. So in terms of how I pack my stuff, this is usually on my back, and then the Osprey, if I have that as well, is usually being pulled in the jet sled, which is just a regular Chappelle jet sled. It's meant for fishing, but I use it for the snow. It's very durable, has deep pockets. But in the Mountain Hardwear backpack, I'll put my clothes, maybe some snacks, all my gear, all the stuff I'm going to use, like the climbing stuff, one of the orange static rope, and then my camera stuff. And that's just because it's stuff I'm going to be using throughout the day. And then in terms of all my sleep system and my comfort, like the camp stuff, I get all that in the big blue bag. They are the same size, so I will have to kind of play around with the two bags together. But I like putting a lot of the camp stuff and the food and the heavy stuff in the big bag, and in the sled itself. The Hillenberg I actually just put directly in the sled. I don't even pack it in the bag. And then leave my lightweight clothes and then my expensive electronics on my back, so I know where they are. But that's pretty much it, guys. And then just that book and that journal is just for me doing work. And I am also working on creating a way to bring my laptop up. I just need a power source that can charge a laptop, because the USB chargers don't have the capacity. You need a really good power block, and they're like $500-600, so that's probably one of my next investments. Anyways, this is Nate from Lifestyle and Adventure, and this is my Expedition Loadout. Hope you enjoy. Bye.